this episode, I made up my mind to try and start a story. If you're interested, just keep listening, and if not, go away. Okay, I'll try not to make it too corny. I have a tendency to do that, so bear with me. Yeah. Okay, in the beginning, let's try. Once upon a time, there was a family, and it was a mom and a dad, and they decided they wanted to have a kid. Of course, so about 9 months later, a little girl was born. And, of course, it was a wonderful birth. Not long before the birth, the dad was watching Oklahoma versus whoever game, and about 2.5 hours later, wham! So, it was a good birth. Mom and daughter came out just fine. And, of course, we're going to focus on the little girl. And so, the mother, about a week later, was noticing that, of course, the baby wasn't keeping down what she was giving her, because they were breastfeeding at that point, which is good for a newborn. That's supposed to be wonderful, and they're supposed to absolutely just do well with that, but the little baby wasn't. She was having a lot of digestion problems. So, the mother calls up the doctor, and the doctor, of course, schedules an appointment, but wasn't very helpful at this point. Of course, he notices she has that baby eczema, which is normal. All babies get that. That's okay. But he was not very helpful when it came to the baby's stomach always being upset and not being able to keep down just breast milk or anything like that. Eventually, after like the next visit or something like that, the doctor mentions to the mother to try and keep off dairy. So maybe that would help. So the mom has to abstain from drinking milk, eating ice cream, cheese, things like that, dairy products. And of course the baby does a little bit better. Still has that eczema going on, but she's not a year old yet. And the doctor's just kind of waiting to see if she'll grow out of her little allergy, or maybe she's lactose intolerant. Who knows? But in the meantime, the baby's having a little bit more issues with her ears, and she's getting infections and things like that. But she's also just growing, being a regular baby, having fun, just a little bit more fussier because she's always in pain. So, it's not her fault, but she's a baby. Okay, so anyway, she's walking by 10 months old. Her very first word was car. Weird, huh? I know, not mom, dada, nope, car. So anyway, by the time she was a year old, she already had a couple of ear infections, the double ear infection, and her eczema, her little baby eczema, is not going away. So, of course, the mom's a little like, well, why isn't she getting this stuff down? Why aren't the antibiotics helping her ears out, her eczema? Why aren't they going away? The doctor really just can't figure it out. So, they're trying a whole bunch of new things. In the meantime, she's still going through, the ear infections. The doctor's noticing her getting infections other places, like, for instance, under her armpit, which is interesting. The doctor notices a little bump, so he tells the mom to keep track of that. If it gets bigger, let him know. If it gets more painful, let him know. Of course, both things happen. So the mom and the baby go see the doctor again. The doctor examines her. Sure enough, he decides it's a very enlarged lymph node, and it needs to be removed. So by the time the little girl was 20 months old, she's already had her first surgery, and it ended up being an infected lymph node about the size of a walnut. Now, to a 20-month-old, the size of a walnut? It's like huge. But, of course, life goes on. They get past it. But just imagine this little, not even 2-year-old, not even 2, just, grabbing her dad's finger, because that's all it can fit around is that one little finger, it's not different. So anyway, moving past that, I think I'll leave that for another video. Yeah, it's a good idea. So, if you want to hear more of the story, stay tuned.